Namaste, everyone. If you're already here, if you'd like to turn your videos on, would be nice to see you. And welcome to day 2. We have 2 more minutes. We start as soon as you join. And if you're already here, give me a thumbs up if you came for yesterday's class as well, so you have an idea of what we were talking about yesterday. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. Yes. Hey. Great. So if you were yesterday, if you contemplate on any of these subject we spoke about, is there anything that you would like to share in the comment section? You also can share until we start. So just to know how many of you felt the session was interesting or useful and found some kind of meaning from the session. Okay. All right, so we're gonna begin today's class. Yesterday we were discussing about the introduction to the yamas and niyamas of Ashtanga Yoga. And thank you, Shambhuji and Anuji. Thank you. We were discussing about what is yama, what is niyama, and why we should practice yama and niyama, and why is Ashtanga Yoga mentioned by Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I'm going to quickly review them and then go to the next deepening of yamas today. So yesterday we spoke about the whole Ashtanga Yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga, was laid down as a path to improve our power of discrimination of what is true and what is not true. What is the real truth? What is good for us? What is the real self? And how to break away from the ignorance. So the whole Ashtanga Yoga is a step-by-step method. If you look at many philosophies, Vedanta, Yoga, Sankhya, all of these philosophies are talking about finding who we really are. That Ashtanga Yoga, the path of Ashtanga Yoga is very practical, not very simple, but very practical. So if I want to choose to go in this path of finding oneself towards moksha or finding who I really am, there is a laid out path. Okay, if you practice yama niyama, if you practice asanas, if you practice pranayama, if you practice pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, there is a clear way towards moksha. So that's also very essential for most of us. Sometimes we don't know how to start, where to start. So this also gives us a clear kind of a way how to go in this path. Okay, so today's session, we'll go deeper into the 5 yamas. So there are 5 yamas, which was one is ahimsa, 2 is satya, asteya, I'll give you the English translation as well. 4 is brahmacharya, 5 is aparigraha. So ahimsa means non-violence, that we are all kind of very well know of ahimsa. Ahimsa is also one of the most important spoken principle in Bhagavad Gita as well. So if you look at ahimsa paramo dharmaha, it is the highest dharma for anybody to be non-violent. Why? There is so much kind of importance given to ahimsa. Because if you think of those days where when Bhagavad Gita or when also Yoga Sutras was written, it's much earlier, right? Now it's 2025, which was Bhagavad Gita, and Yoga Sutra was written very close to for Bhagavad Gita, they say 500 BC or even before. And Yoga Sutras of Patanjali was written in 200 AD or near there. So these are the kind of information which is available out there about the dates of them. There was a lot of kind of war, which is unsettling. A lot of moving. The tribes moved from one place to another. There was a lot of war. So being peaceful, being non-violent was very essential inside their community to thrive as people. And if you look at that, it also is the same even now. It still applies. If we are not peaceful as a community together, then what happens? There is a lot of restlessness in the mind. The restless in the mind also translates to anger. The three kind of results which come out of these five, yeah, non-practicing of these five yamas: anger, greed, and delusion. Okay, so we'll go into that later. So if you see, if there is non-violence around you, you definitely will experience anger. There is also delusions. Do not know which side to believe, which is true, which is not true. And there is also greed, like if that person has something, we want to have this. So there are three kind of negative results if there is no, not the yama and niyama are not practiced. So that is at the end of the day we will learn about the fifth day. So why I should practice ahimsa? Why should I have an established practice of ahimsa? And what is ahimsa? To not cause violence in my thoughts, words, and action, right? So we're going to do a practical kind of exploration on our own self. What does it mean to us, right? Think about the recent days where you were violent. This is not anger, so please find the difference. Anger is anger, but anger will cause violence. So where you have been violent either with your thought or with your word or with your action, recent, let's say last 6 months, or even if you remember something which is more further before but you remember vividly, try to recollect and understand the whole situation, why you were non-violent. Okay, so we'll close our eyes, allow our body to relax, trying to bring your attention to the heart space, slow and steady breath. Keeping your eyes closed, relaxing your face. Try to feel more settled in your physical body. If you feel restless, you feel like you want to move, allow yourself to settle in. Tell yourself for the next few minutes, I'm going to be fully stable with my physical body without moving them. Now, gently and recollect the thought pattern which caused, or you experienced violence, or you caused violence, either of these incidents that you remember, and how did it make you feel? Bring about the awareness of the feeling and sensation like you're observing it in the third person, not personal. Yes, it can make you feel angry again, but think of you're watching a movie which has already happened without any attachment to that movie. What is the feeling which comes up to you? Stay for 3 minutes. Now, slowly bring your awareness back to your breathing. Feel your breath and take a deep exhale, like releasing through your mouth, a big sigh. Letting go of that feeling away, and you can open your eyes. So type in the comment box what feeling came to you while you went and visited the violent activity which either happened to you or someone um, you acted violently to somebody. Please type in the box if you have any things to say. So most of the time when you experience violence or you receive it from someone or you give it to someone, after you experience that, there is this deep state of sadness. There is a lot of pain. Even you are the one inflicting violence on someone else, there is a lot of pain in ourselves because that is not who we really are. That is not the real nature of who we are. So violence and anger is two different things. Anger is a protective mechanism that we have to express and take care of our boundaries, to feel safe. Yeah, disgruntlement, yes. Perfect, thanks for that. But if I don't have anger about certain things, people can walk past me, walk on me without having any boundaries. Anger is a great tool. But how do we express anger is what we have to work on. So that is where non-violence comes into play. Compassionate conversations, non-violent actions to express your anger will help you to navigate that situation. At the same time, it also will help you to really find your true self without this mental disturbance. Yeah, sometimes we also do it as a protective mechanism. There is a message saying that kill the lizard. The intention we have to see, what is the intention to kill? Is it to harm or is to take care of yourself? There is another way of doing it is to shoo that lizard away and put some nets in our houses to protect ourselves. So there are a lot of ways, just if you think about it, we have to deal with the anger, whatever for whatever we have this anger for. Let's say we're fighting with our spouse, we're fighting with our mom, or we're fighting with our dad, we are fighting with our kids. There is anger. Anger is a really good tool. Like no one should suppress anger. But now let's say I am angry, right? So how do I communicate that? If I take on that anger as a crown and put on myself and scream at someone, I'm not going to be benefited and they are not going to be benefited. At the end of the day, we are both going to feel the pain. Rather, I use anger as a tool to see clearly why am I getting through this process of being angry and express that, for example, in a more compassionate way, not during the heat of the moment, but rather letting that go and doing it afterwards. Let's say next day or Sunday, you're sitting together with your mom, dad, or spouse or your kid, and then you can say, that day what you did to me made me feel hurtful. Not to say, what they did is wrong, right, bad, not using these kind of words to blame them, rather saying how you felt, vulnerably sharing with your friends, family, relationship, whoever that is. That compassionate communication helps us to really exchange the feeling that we have to our fellow friends and the people around us. So that way they understand what hurts you, what doesn't hurt you. So that way they'll also be mindful. If they're not mindful, they're going to, after you expressing it, they're going to keep doing it again and again and again and again. Then what happens? That means they don't have the compassion towards you. It's better to stay away from that person or that situation for long as you feel safe, right? So there are a lot of different ways to handle this. The one best way is non-violent communication, right? So think of next time when we practice, when we are getting angry, instead of really saying anything out loud, keeping quiet, letting that emotion go, and sit and write down. If you want to express it through by your written notes. You write it down on your journal, or type it down why you're angry, what's making you angry, about coworker, anybody it can be, and then see if there is a nice space to express that in a much more calm and relaxed way. So that's something we can follow, we can try and practice. This is one of the most useful yamas. And also, Patanjali says if you practice ahimsa for, let's say, um, for a long period of time, even someone with an like an enmity or ill will coming to you, they will change their mind. You know how wonderful that is. Like even they want to come and harm you, but they will not be able to harm you because you are a person who's practicing ahimsa. There's one kind of a story of Buddha I would like to um, share. Like one day he went to take alms for food in different village, and then when he's coming back, the entire village was very quiet. So he knocked at the door of the villager and he asked why there is nobody in this streets. And the villager said, yeah, there is a criminal who is going around and killing people, so please come in and stay safe with us. Buddha said, no, I'm not afraid, and he walked. And this criminal saw him when the Buddha was walking, and then he came running and he took his knife and said, why are you not hiding? Why are you not afraid of me? Why are you on the streets? You know, I'm going to kill everybody on the street today. And Buddha said, very, very calm, like a very relaxed way, he said, look into his eyes and said, I don't feel afraid. And yeah, whatever you want to do, you can do, something like that. And then the the student, just by look the eyes of the Buddha, he just dropped the knife and he became a student of Buddha. This is a nice story to hear, but don't go and stand in front of a criminal and say, I am very calm. And we are not established in ahimsa yet, right? So once we establish in ahimsa, even the most deadliest animals becomes friends to us. This is what Patanjali in the Yoga Sutra says. So we can think it as, okay, mythological stuff, okay, people are making up stories, or we can actually inquire, what does it actually mean? You see, most of the violence comes from the fear of many things, fear for life, fear of new things, judgment, whatever. Most of the time when we get angry is deep seated fear, trying to inquire about it, something that which is not going to give you a comfortable space. Someone has done something which is going to create dukkha for you. That is when we become anger. Okay, so we spoke about what is sukha and dukkha yesterday. Ka means space, su is comfortable space, sukha means always with our sense organs going towards comfort, dukkham is always with our sense organs going away, like we don't want to have discomfort. Dukkha is non comfortable space. Du is like opposite of sa, su. So it's like space which is comfortable is sukha, space which is not comfortable is dukkha. If you look at our people, all of us, we always are going towards sukha. We always want to run away from dukkha, right? So this is our nature of life. So now, if violence is violence is one of the ways that kind of gonna cause dukkha for your sense organs or self, then you want to run away from it. There is a fear of dukkha. So if you see them very clearly, the fear is gone, there will be no violence. Hmm. Beautiful. This is Angulimal, yes. Thank you. So nice story, is beautiful story. So this also, the story is also very popular in different parts of the world, and they have their different versions as well. Okay, so this is the first aspect of ayama, ahimsa. So ahimsa, paramo dharmaha. So we spoke about it, and we also explored what all we can do. And the second one is satya. Satya means truthfulness. So here is a question: what is truthfulness? Anyone wants to share something that you guys are? I'm sure you all have thought about it a lot, and if you want to share, you can also please share. Um, Truthfulness is a very important subject. And if you see ahimsa is there, truthfulness is right below. So sometimes what we can do is we say that we are truthful, we can also be rude. So that's why first practice ahimsa, then practice truthfulness. Whatever we are saying should not be rude or harmful or violence inflicting to others. So first we have to practice that as the base for all our conversation. Express yourself truly. Very good. So what is that true means? So truth is not going to change for you or for me. Truth is universal truth. So this finding of what truth is already a journey into ourself. So truth for what? Truth for my senses, truth for my mind, or truth for myself? What are the differences in this? How to explore that? This is our kind of an exploration today. So now if you close your eyes and think about something you truly, truly believe in, like, I really, really believe this is true about myself. Choose a personal example about yourself. And let's just contemplate on that. What do I believe in? Why do I believe so strongly as this is true? What are the conditionings I have around this particular truth that I believe in? What all narratives come out of that belief? I truly believe I'm a good person, right? So let's say if I truly believe I'm a good person, from where do I derive that from? From my activities or from my thoughts? And why I derive that? And why would I say that I'm a good person? Just keep exploring. This is an example, not necessarily everyone have to choose the same example. You can, whatever you truly believe in, you can find out a little bit more. Let's take 2-3 minutes to sit and contemplate upon what is truth. Keeping your eyes closed, just think of the recent time you had to make a small lie or you have to speak something not really truthful to yourself or to others. And how you felt when you have been lied to or when you lied to someone else. What is the feeling, aftertaste of not being truthful? What it gave you? Wonderful. Now slowly open your eyes. So here, you can type where what you felt. Until then, I will explain what Patanjali is talking about truthfulness. whatever feelings you have. For me, when I lie, the personal feeling is feeling small about my, like, I'm feeling very small. Like, even a very simple lie, like, yeah, I'm going to be there in 10 minutes, but I know in my heart I will not be there in 10 minutes. I know I'll take another 10, 20 minutes to reach there. So that makes me feel a little bit small. So that is also a lie. So what is actually truth is concurrency, or your thoughts, your words, and action should all be the same. In my thought, I'm thinking something else, but in front of others, I'm saying, oh, it was wonderful. But in my head, it's saying, oh my God, it was so miserable, right? So this is not being truthful. Our thoughts, words, and action should always match. There is a concurrence between what you're thinking, what you're speaking, and what you're doing. You can, and also it at the same time, it should be pleasant. It shouldn't be harmful. It shouldn't be violent, inflicting. Ahimsa is the um, most central theme of yamas. Everything else is just like a friends of ahimsa. So you always should practice ahimsa. The rest of it should only be a supporting factor for ahimsa. So even if I say, oh, I'm trying to be truthful today, and I say, oh, how ugly you look today. Yes, it's true. That's what you're thinking. That person looks ugly, or that person is bad, or that person is this. But are you practicing non-violence before communicating that truth that you have in your mind? Why is this important? Why being truthful is important? One, by lying or by exaggerating or by saying things that is not real, which is in reality, causes a lot of suffering for yourself and for the people or the situations that you are in. But there is a way to also truthfully communicate. In the beginning, it can feel very difficult and very like tough to practice, but slowly it becomes the most easiest and most natural way to live life. So this is why it's also kind of insisted that we practice satya as our one of the most important practices of yama. Yeah, a burden within. Yes, if Vishal, it's a very nice thing you've put, but I don't understand the context of it. Also, there is more challenges these days to be truthful or to be non-violent. Always choose non-violence first and then choose truthfulness if there is a kind of a conflict there. And then third one is asteya, non-stealing. I'm going to go a little bit faster because we don't have time. So non-stealing, we are not necessarily, this does not apply to us. We are not going to steal someone's things. Most of us are kind of content with what we have and we don't steal, but we steal in other ways. Like we steal the ideas, we steal the time of others without respecting that, without having the boundary for their time. And these are things. And actually, if you go and explore this asteya much more deeper, it's not about stealing, it's about taking more than we actually need. We are so consumer oriented market right now. Everything is I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more. Never ever say I'm actually content, I'm very happy. There is never, not even one person. The most richest person you go and ask, they want more money. The most poorest person, they also want more money. Everyone is just wanting for more. There's not even one person who's content. Who's content? The yogis are content. The one who actually have no kind of wanting more, they're content. So is it possible to have contentment in our life? That we will discuss in our niyama practices as one of the most principles, but not taking more than you need, being mindful of what am I consuming from the outside world. Because the more things we accumulate in our life, we have a lot of time to take care of things, and we lose the freedom of being yourself. Let's say, how many of you have uh, like uh, like huge kind of like properties or huge businesses, or like you have things, it will bind you to that particular place and time. It's very difficult to mentally be free from that. So it's not like no one should do businesses or no one, but be mindful of what we are accumulating. That is very, very essential in the path of yoga. If you're not in the path of yoga, go ahead and accumulate. Patanjali is not talking about everybody else, but if you are excited about moksha, if you are looking towards finding freedom from our conditioning and from our own mind, we need to be mindful of uh, having, establishing that kind of wall around what we actually need and what we should not take more than our need, you know. So this is about truthfulness. And Patanjali says, if you are practicing asteya, if you not steal from anyone, or if you don't take more, all the treasures in the world come to you. Like I can think of most of this, like real saints, not uh, there are so many different people here. So real saints, they are kind of given up everything, their physical possessions, material possessions, they have given up everything. But if you look at a lot of worldly people, go to them and give them money, give them things and say, bless me, you know, even though they don't have any regards to money or anything, but they will receive from others. So it's a very, but it's not for all of us. So it's not like, okay, now I have to be content. I should not take anything. So I will not go do any work. I will not take care of my family. No, need, we need to take care of our needs. But beyond that is just greed. It's not really useful for us or for the people around us. And that will also create jealousy, creates um, imbalance in the society. And we all know how we feel about certain rich people in the world. We feel the accumulation is too much, that it kind of even upsets the system's balance, you know. So accumulation should be very, very mindful if you are in this path of yoga. So that's what Patanjali is talking about. Okay, so we have come to the end of the session today. I'm going to continue the last two tomorrow along with the niyamas, because brahmacharya and aparigraha is also very interesting ones. Today, I would like you to, if you really enjoy the session, if you think something these are useful for your practice and sadhana, because you're all here for meditation, I know, but meditation without these principles will only take you in loops and loops of, you know, thinking about past, present, future, anxiety. It will not give you the clarity to determine what is right and wrong for me. That's why we are doing this Yama Niyama practices, and how it can help you in your meditative practices, and how it can help you lead a life which is more comfortable for yourself and for others, and more harmonious. Yama is about this harmony to everything around you and to yourself. To think of your neighbor as you, to think of your colleague as you, and keep everybody, have an open mind, share whatever you have, you know. So this is what the whole point of practicing yamas. So we're going to talk this in detail, last two, brahmacharya and aparigraha, tomorrow, and also meditate on that. So it's not a full-fledged meditative session as well. I just want to clarify that, because there's a lot of things to talk about and contemplate. And then you can use this and sit in meditation at any point of the day today, if you like. Yeah. Yes, we should practice not to be judgmental and accept everything as it is. Very nice, Sanjay. So judgmental is also coming from our own belief systems, innermost fears, insecurities. So if I say don't judge, it's very difficult. Like I see something, I really want to judge because that's what my conditioning is. Rather, I could go back and say, why do I have this judgment? Then I understand a little bit more about myself, and maybe next time the judgment even won't come about. And that is the practice of yoga, to really go deep and understand yourself so you understand the world. Not like if I say, oh, I'm angry, no, I shouldn't be angry now. I should be very, like today, you don't go and message someone you've been very angry with and they did something wrong to you and they say, oh, I love you. I don't do that, because that is not the whole concept of this. First, to inquire, okay, now I'm angry. What is the anger about? Why do I get angry? Why that person is doing this, I understand, but why that is causing that anger inside me? Am I capable to have that kind of connection with myself and find out the truth for myself first and then express it to the other person, right? So this is an inner work. This is not to mend ways or to be friends with everybody in the outside world. This is inner work, to be friends with myself first. And then that clarity will express itself beautifully. All right. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'll take another 2-3 minutes to answer the questions, and then we will finish the session. Tomorrow also we have. So next 3 days, we're going to explore in depth about what I understand from Yama and Yama with my little understanding of studying with different teachers for the last 25 years and sharing with you guys so that I can also learn more. So thank you for the time. I'm very grateful for all of you who are present here today. Because of you guys, I can revisit the whole topic one more time. So thanks a lot. And if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so okay, someone, yeah, Somi, please go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. Hello. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, Somi. Tell me.
If someone has provoked me and the anger comes out, then what should I do at that time?
Hmm. It's a very good question. So if someone is provoking you, first at that particular moment, we should try not to react at that particular moment and see what exactly is their intention and what is happening and be more stable. That is the most difficult thing, to not react at that particular moment. See if that is possible. And if you feel like you want to react, you try to go and take one journal and just write how you feel, like fully write it out on the notebook and let
At,
it.
at that at that moment, I feel very disturbed
Yes.
and anxiety comes out. So I can't decide what to do or what to do, not what to not
Correct.
do.
Correct. Very,
So
very true. So now you have this question, right? So now you think about, let's say, in the past, last few times that you heard anger, how can you sit and write down why you had anger, how you felt? Can you sit and write everything down and see what you could have done differently, or what is the better outcome for you and for that other person? What can happen? And also, there is a lot of history to it, Sumi. If there is a lot of repeated provocativeness that is coming from that same person, you also have to take some time and space for yourself, because you cannot have compassion for others if you don't have compassion to give. So if someone is keeping on provoking us, we also don't have compassion to give. So first we need to distance ourselves and find
yes,
that space for our own self, compassion, love, everything, and then go and approach that. If you feel like it's still too much that you're not able to take, it's better to take a little bit more step away from that person for a little
right.
longer. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, I think there's one more question, maybe. All right, so thank you guys. Thank you so much for, yeah, Ria, please go ahead. We'll finish with this question.
Thank you for the session, ma'am. So I wanted, am I audible?
Yeah, you are, but very little noisy in the background.
Okay, ma'am. I think if I will open my headphone, it will get disconnected. So I'll
Ah,
ask
no
you.
problem.
So I wanted to ask that many times, like, my mother is sharing something. Okay, so my mother, she doesn't like something, she share it. But that is in a complaining way that I don't like this, and that is more on the judgmental side. But I don't want to listen anything that affects my mental health. But I'm also a daughter. I have to listen, right? Because she is also sharing her feelings, feeling someone. But most of the times it happens that I react in a way like I shut down her emotions. That makes me feel bad. But even if I take in the emotions, that makes me more negative. So how do I handle that?
Hmm. Okay, we have to be very honest. I only heard half of your question because of the voice thingy. What I can do is, can you type in the like comment box, or I can try to answer it by tomorrow as soon as we come, right? Is that okay, Ria? because I couldn't hear you really well. It's just very noisy. I understood something about, yeah, you can ask tomorrow. Thank you, Ria. So we will talk about it tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. And lovely meeting all of you. If you want to know more about me, I am on Instagram. Also, I'm on YouTube. Some marketing to be done. And thank you, Idanim team, for having me.